everybody. So I'm gonna wait for a few of you to come on. Let's talk about death. Apparently this is on a lot of people's minds lately. I know I had a sort of a death recently. That's why you guys haven't seen me. So let me know in the comments that you guys are here, or somebody's here, somebody's on. Say hello. This is something that someone asked me for a while back, and I was definitely not ready. Hi, Alex. Hi, cuz. So I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about it. Normally I don't do these. Hi, Annette. Perfect. All right, I got a few of you on now. So for those of you who know, I do not like doing these lives driving, but this is apparently an urgent matter that I need to get out to you guys. So let's talk about death. So there's about to be a lot more shifts. If any of you have had, let's just say like growing pains, okay, recently, where you felt depressed or angry, or just your emotions have been like on a sky-high roller coaster, and you just want to get off this right now because it's too much. Know it's a collective energy. Know that you're not alone. Know that a lot of what people are feeling is a rebirth, okay? So it's definitely one of those energies that's going around, okay? So again, I'm gonna have you guys just pay attention to how you're feeling. Now, the reason I'm talking about death today is, I don't know, I feel like there's gonna be another wave of energy. Not to say it's COVID, not to say it's anything specific. It does feel like something else is coming. Like I had mentioned before, it's gonna be something new every month. We've seen the fires, we've seen the hurricanes, we've seen all of that. Okay, so from now until the end of the year. Okay, so I want you guys to know that death is going to be something that you guys are going to be encountering, not just on a physical level. I'm talking about death as in endings to relationships, as in endings to marriages, as in endings to friendships, maybe endings in businesses, endings in partnerships, endings in the way that you guys are used to living your life. If COVID hasn't done that already for you guys, it's gonna finish doing it for you guys by the end of the year. Okay, so how do we process death? One of the biggest things that we're afraid of, hi Rico, one of the biggest things that we're afraid of in regards to death is the unknown. Most of us, or I'll speak for myself, I was raised, as you all know, Catholic, in a very Catholic home. I went to church 3 times a day on Sundays, was in the choir and all kinds of fun stuff, right? So they taught me there's a hell and there's a heaven, but there's also a purgatory. So I was brought up with this idea of death, that if you weren't a good person and you didn't cleanse all of your sins before you died, or if you had like an unholy death, like a suicide, or you were just caught up in some BS, okay, that you would definitely not be going to heaven, right? And then you go to this place called purgatory, where you kind of wait in limbo and all this bunch of stuff. Well, luckily I don't believe in any of that anymore, and I ask that you question it too, because we create our own heaven and earth. If we're living in positivity and watch the people around us, we definitely live and create our own heaven here. Now, if you guys want to be in a lower state, in a lower vibration, we definitely will live in that hell. We create our own hell, just as we are the creators of our own life. We create that here on earth. Of course, in Miracles actually talks a lot about that. However, now I'm going to go on to the physical deaths that some of us are actually experiencing. A lot of you have noticed changes in your diet, where you don't want to eat meat, or maybe your little kids, your children at home are like, I just don't want to eat that, Mom, or I'd rather eat salads and broccoli, and you're surprised at what they're asking you for. Okay, go with it. Allow them to make those dietary shifts, and you allow yourself to make those dietary shifts. A lot of us are dehydrated. Let me tell you, you guys need to really amp up your vitamin C intake, your zinc intake. get elderberry capsules or whatever. I take turmeric. You guys really start amping up again your immune systems. Not again for COVID. It just feels like something different, you guys. It definitely feels something different, but this one's gonna have some physical deaths and physical issues. It definitely does feel like they're amping up the G's, the 5G, the 6G now. They may have just released the 5G, and that's why they're pressuring a lot of us to, oh, we'll give you a free phone. So know that some of the physical things that a lot of you have been feeling, or that death internally that you've been feeling, has been part of the new radiation. Okay? And like I said, I'm sorry I haven't been around, but I'm telling you guys, I realize that I go into my little crab self because I am a Cancer ascending, and it's what I do when I need to recharge. Okay, so if you guys find yourself not wanting to be around people, it's kind of a death that you guys are experiencing. Okay, now the biggest thing with an actual physical death is a lot of us are afraid of what's to come. Is it going to hurt? Is it going to be, is there suffering? Is there pain? Etc., etc. Now, I have had the privilege of experiencing a few physical deaths in my life. Luckily, they haven't been back to back. However, I have experienced two very different deaths, and those were with my grandparents. My grandpa had an amazing death. His death was very beautiful, a very peaceful death. And I saw how he was able to come back and give us those moments of peace, and he was able to recognize us and all of that. Not all deaths are peaceful, because then we have my grandma's. My grandma's was very, it was, let's just put it this way. How you live your life is often how you're going to go out. And if you saw things and didn't say them, the first thing that's going to go is very likely your sight, and then you won't be able to talk. And that is what I experienced with my grandma. There's a lot of things that she knew, that she didn't say, that she didn't forewarn, that she didn't take responsibility for as the hierarchy of our family. And that's how her death experience was. Now, to what I've seen and I was able to experience with my grandma's physical death is, and I apologize antemano to any family member that sees this and gets offended. I'll apologize now if you get offended for your feelings, but not for mine, because this is my experience. So going back to my grandma's death, I was able to perceive and know that she was not going to get out of the hospital this time around. I was able to let my mom know, Mom, prepare yourself, because this time her chakras, or her life system, we have chakra centers, they all got really dim, because I have the ability to go into people's bodies. Yes, energetically I can do that. That's what allows me to clear the energy and whatnot, and aura cleansings and limpias, or whatever you want to call them. Okay. I have the ability to go in the body and check out what's going on. And in her body, her chakras were dimmed out. So that's when I knew that she was not going to get out of the hospital. I let my mom know. And as her death experience happened, I was able to witness how each one of her chakras dimmed out. Now, to what I saw, this is a painful process when you're going to go that way. When it's peaceful and you die in your sleep, boom, take your last breath, you're done. But in my grandma's process, I was able to witness how it was painful, because your life force, which are these chakra centers, are detaching. And this is what I realized also by asking questions while I was there. Each of our chakras, we have 7 main ones. Each one of those has a, what do you want to call it, the energy center. So our root chakra is our safety, our security. Our sacral chakra is our sexuality, our creativity, our money center. Okay. Then we have our solar plexus, which is our control center. It's the seat of the soul. We have our heart center, which is our emotions, how we love, how we express our love. We have our throat center, which is the motor to our expressions. We have small ear chakras to listen, right? We have our third eye, which is what allows us to see beyond our logical self and go into our spirituality more deeply, okay? And then we have our crown chakra, which is what connects us directly to God. Each one of these chakras dims out. Each one of these chakras stops spinning. Each one of these chakras eventually just gives out. And that's when we eventually, like that, in a hospital death. My grandma was in hospice. But I was able to witness that and saw the painful process and how they're able to hold on and how they're able to not be conscious, but they're conscious because they're still hearing everything. So I was able to experience this death, and you could cut butter with you could cut the tension in there with a butter knife. You walked into that room, all of the brothers and sisters were like this. We all saw it. It is what it is. I saw the way my family was treated throughout that process, and it's okay. But it was able to give me an understanding about what a physical death is like when you go through that. Okay. And then I got to see the more peaceful death, which was my grandpa's death, where we actually even got to smell roses. He was very devout to Mother Mary, and a few times we got to experience some creepy stuff, but I'm not gonna go into that. No, I am gonna go into it because one of you wants to hear it. He actually got up in the middle of the night while we were sleeping, because he was also in a hospice, but we were able to sleep in the room or whatnot. And he got up one night, he was like, and he's like, it's over. Like, he did this, it was like a Jesus thing where he's like, all right, it's my time type of thing. And then he fell back to sleep. It was the weirdest thing ever. I don't remember who was there. I know my mom was there. I think my tia Laura was there. But anyway, it was very interesting. So I've gotten to experience those deaths. I also got to experience people dying through this COVID. Okay, nobody close. Luckily, nobody that I say, oh, somebody close. But know that the biggest thing that we fear about dying, you guys, is the unknown. Is where are we going? So I'm gonna pose this question to you: is if you didn't know about heaven and hell, where do you think you would go? You guys can chat it up in there. Let me know what you think, where you would go. If you didn't know about heaven and hell, where do you think you would go? Where would you die, and where would you end up? I know in my class I teach about the void, about that we came from a void, we came from the sky, we came from the stars. So I'm not gonna buy into the trick of go back to the light. I have my personal reasons. I've done some studying. Bobby Hemmett's really good at giving us that information if you guys want to start somewhere. He's really deep. It may not be a beginner's, but Bobby Hemmett is somebody that I've learned a lot from. Just Google his name and you'll find plenty of lectures. Might shake you up and shake your reality up a little bit, but the going to the light is just going to allow us to reincarnate and come back this way. So if you know that you're not supposed to go to the light and you're supposed to go back to source or creator, that's where you go. Go back to source and creator. Where is source and creator? I've been taught he's a void. I've been taught God is not outside of me, it's inside of me, but this is just a meat suit, this is just a vessel. So I'm gonna go back to the sky, I'm gonna go back to my planet, I'm gonna go back to the stars until I decide, all right, I'm done doing this, and then I'll maybe come back and sign up again, but I don't think so. So a lot of people say go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. The more I've dug into it, the more I've realized that that's a fraud, that's the time loop that they have us in currently. This is why you meet people and they seem familiar. This is why you guys are here watching. This is why, because something about this information attracts you. Maybe you're attracted to me. But again, if you think about it, where would you go if you didn't know there was a heaven and hell? Where do you think you would go? A lot of Native Americans believe that they went back into the earth, that they went back into Gaia and replenished the earth, became worms to feed the birds, and then the birds feed the bigger animals, and that's the cycle of life, right? So I just want to pose that to you guys. But the physical death of someone who has to die within hospice or within a slow period, know that it is it can be physically painful for them. Hi, Fatima. But people who die in their sleeps, so lucky. so lucky. Okay? People who die from a car crash or an accident, I know that I've channeled a lot of these, and they don't feel it. They don't feel it. They're ejected. Their soul is ejected out of their body before they can feel any physical pain, because that's how merciful we are as gods. That we don't want to feel that. Now, I can go into comas and all those different aspects, but let me know your thoughts. One of the biggest things about fear is that the fear of death is because we don't know where we're going. But I bet you anything that if you knew where you were going, you wouldn't fear it. And if you know that your faith and who you've been as a person is not going to take you to a hell that's not worse than what some of you might be living right now, you have nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing. Because we control that aspect of it. We're so still very conscious when we're dying that we decide. So I'm here to bring you guys the whole, you don't have to go to the light. If anything, avoid it. And I'm not telling you go to the dark, no. I'm just saying you ask and you command with source to go back to source. Because when you go back into the light, it's like you're coming back in. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the meme, or I don't know, it's a story where it says, what if the light that you see at the end of the tunnel isn't the light to heaven? It's actually a light back into the hospital that you're reborn into again from a different mom. Does that make sense? That makes sense. Anyway. All right, y'all. I'm going to keep this one short. Thank you guys for accompanying me on my journey home from the dance studio. Yes, I am dancing again. We need guys on our salsa team, you guys. Where you at? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought. One of the biggest things, again, about actual death is that we think we're afraid of it because we don't know what's going to happen. But if I were to tell you, and I'm telling you now, what you create and what you think your death is going to be like, you will likely attract. So if you think you're going to go into purgatory, guess where you're going to be. If you think you're going to hell, guess where you're going. You're creating it now. So I would highly suggest that you guys really think about it. Do some research. Do some research as to why you were indoctrined the way you were and questioned. Mi tío acaba de fallecer y se fue en un sueño. Y se fue rápido. I'm grateful for that. You're a deep love in it. Yeah, I'm telling you, one of the most beautiful ways to die is in your sleep. It's one of the most beautiful ways to die. It's amazing. Now, unless you're gonna have a death like my grandpa's, which was absolutely just wow. Even my grandma's death. I mean, that last breath is it's something special. Let me tell you. But dying in your sleep is one of the most peaceful ways to go, and it's painless. Okay. Let me see. Anybody else? Any more comments? Any more? All right, y'all. So I'm out of my rebirth state, which was also very painful. It brought up a lot of things in my relationships, men that I have tended to attract. Why I've tended to attract them, that's going to be another live. But the deities that I was using or have been using, a lot of revelations in this rebirth. Let me tell you. So I will go ahead and sign out. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed watching this. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because it is very likely the platform that I will be moving to, unless Facebook stops, censoring shit. But anyway, all right, you guys, I will talk to you guys soon, and hope you guys enjoyed this live, and surprise, I'm back. Take care. Bye.